I am excited because today I'm going to be chatting with Ray, and the reason I'm actually really excited about this, Ray, is because this is something that we used to do a lot. We used to do it every week, I guess, in the MagMod community, and we haven't been doing it for a while. And I'm excited to finally bring it back, which is our How I Shot It videos. The only difference we're doing now is instead of recording it and publishing these later, we're actually doing it live. So I'm having a live chat with Ray, which could mean there could be a few technical difficulties here and there. Hopefully not. We're going to see how it goes. But I'm excited to have you on here, Ray, because honestly, dude, your work has just constantly been blowing me away. Not just in the MagMod community, but I see it posted in the SR Lounge community and the different places. And every single time you post a photo, I'm like, dude, who did this shot? And then I look, and of course, it's Ray Benasfre. So thank you so much, Ray, for being here with me.
Thanks for having me, Trevor.
Yeah. So, Ray, before we even get started, let's just tell people where to find you. I know you're up in North Carolina. We don't need to give them your address or anything, but tell them where you're at as far as your Instagram, your website, that kind of stuff.
All right. So my Instagram is at Ray Benasfre Photography. Facebook, Ray Benasfre Photography. Website's just raybenasfre.com.
Awesome. Guys, definitely go check out his stuff. And Ray, I'm going to just give me one more second. I'm actually going to pull up our live chat so I can actually see as any comments or questions coming in. So I want to make sure to encourage everybody, if you have comments or questions for Ray, feel free to post those. I'm actually going to be monitoring the MagMod page, not the link in the community. So feel free to jump over to the MagMod page, just click on the video, open it up, and you guys can throw some comments or questions. Ramiro, I just mentioned, saludos, mi amigo, Trevor Daly. So Ramiro is an amazing photographer. Ramiro Cervantes out in California. He's saying hello. We got Jonathan Knight watching. I saw another comment over earlier somewhere else. So I'll keep an eye on this. And Ray, if I see any questions come in that people have about some of these photographs, I'll be sure to send those over to you. All right. So Ray, let's just jump. Oh, actually, you know what? Before we even get started showing a photo, do you mind if I just ask you what are you doing right now? Because you're actually in lockdown, right? I mean, you're pretty much being told to stay in your home and not move around. And is that right?
Yeah. Well, I don't think we're like on full shutdown here in North Carolina. Me myself. So I'm active duty military. Because I recently traveled the last 2 weeks. I went to DC. I went to Philly. They told me I had to stay at home, so I was given an order. I have to stay indoors if I were to leave. That's like punishable by you. So I've been indoors for like the last week, and I've got about I think another 8 more days before I can come back to work. So all my other like coworkers, they're all still working right now, and I'm stuck here.
Wow. So basically, you've been told to kind of self quarantine, essentially. Is that right?
Right. Yeah.
So what are you? I saw yesterday. I can't remember if you went live somewhere or if you just were doing it at home, but it looked like you kind of set up a studio in your house to shoot some photos of your daughter. Is that right?
Yeah. So another photography group run by Michael Anthony, the Elevate Group.
Oh yeah, the
He had
Elevate.
a
Yeah.
challenge. Yeah, he posted a challenge, a quarantine challenge to do a low key photo. So I just kind of took that time as an opportunity to practice my low key portraits. Set up a black backdrop in my living room and had my daughter model for me for the 20 minutes that she was willing to sit.
It's usually only about that long, right? Like they'll give you about 15, 20 minutes and then they're like, all right, Dad, I want to go back to my iPad or whatever, right?
Right.
So, well, Ray, I gotta say, I was looking at your profile yesterday on Facebook, just kind of getting a little bit more familiar. I guess you could call it the client stalking, right? And I opened this shot right here, if you can see that, and I immediately that I'm going to be talking to. Holy smokes!
Another life right there.
No,
like before I even picked up the camera.
Well, and immediately I was like, all right, I gotta go get my hair cut. I did a little high and tight, and, so I busted out my hair clippers and made sure I got all trimmed up, ready for this chat with you. So, no, but Ray, first off, I do want to just say thank you for your service in the military. It looks like, are you in the Marines? Is that what you do?
Yes. Yeah, I've been in the Marine Corps for about 17 years now.
17. Wow. So you must have got in early, Ray, because I can't imagine that you're more than 36, 37 years old. How old are you?
35. Yeah, we went in right at 18.
Wow. That's awesome, dude. Well, you're an animal. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your service, and like I said, not only are you doing amazing things there, but your photographs are incredible. So if you're cool with that, let's jump right in. Oh, you know what? Actually, Stephanie was saying the exact same thing. Stephanie Richard was saying, "Hey, thank you for your service." We got Mark Andrew saying, "What up, big dog?"
Mark.
Abhirup, he says, Trevor Daly, hello from Philly. Got Chris tuning in from New Jersey. Elizabeth Lloyd, Mike Anthony is watching you. So, yeah. So, again, another shout out to Michael's group, Elevate Photography. He's doing some fun things over there, and Ray's been active. So, Ray, let's jump right into this first photograph. I'm going to pull it up. And I would love to have you just kind of describe how you shot this. And I know for this photograph, we have a behind the scenes as well. But tell us about this beautiful image.
All right. So the client wanted to do a maternity session indoors. I usually shoot a lot of my stuff outdoors. So we picked this cool venue. It's usually used for weddings and stuff, but the owner let me use it for this photo shoot. And every room in this house is like its own photo shoot. And we were shooting next door. Then we came around this corner and I saw the fireplace. And it's just funny with MagMods and just what it's done for me shooting. I just start thinking of things like as I'm going, and then I see the fireplace. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put a gel in there. I'm gonna put a speed light in there with a gel. I think it was a gel with either a half or a full. I can never remember these things, but I think it might have been a full. And I
Uh-huh.
put it in the fireplace and just had her stand next to it and put her in a pose. And then I used the snoot camera right, and it'll be in the behind the scenes photo. And I put that on an 8200 and had it dialed in right onto her face, and then with the camera just dialed for the just underexpose the ambient lighting, and then
Yeah.
and this is what I came up with.
You know, I'm going to stop sharing here for a second. I wonder if there's an easier way that I can just pull up my desktop. Let's see here. I'm going to pull up Finder and because you have a behind the scenes shot here as well. Let's see. Is that sharing that or nope? It looks like I have to share it specifically. Hold on. Let me go back to share here. I want to show everyone this behind the scenes image. Um, there's the behind the scenes. So Ray, not only did you use a snoot to just put a touch of light on her, but you actually have a flash in the fireplace with a CTO gel. Is that right?
Yeah, there might even be a sphere on it, I think, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe not. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's got the CTO on it, so that way it kind of looked or mimicked lighting in the fireplace.
I love that, man. Do you find yourself the Mag Snoot? I think is one of those tools that's a little bit. I would say it's funny because I think there's like levels of I don't know, expertise or difficulty or maybe like times where you use certain tools over others. And the Mag Snoot tends to be a little bit tougher because you really have to be pretty specific on where you put that light. Do you find
Mhm.
yourself using the Mag Snoot a lot, or is it one of those tools where you pull it out in just really specific scenarios?
Um, I actually, yeah, don't really use it that much. And just like you said, in specific scenarios, if I have it or if I even brought it that day,
Uh huh.
sometimes I'll just stack MagGrids. But I had it in my bag, and luckily, because I normally don't bring it out, and just thought I'd give it a try. I think I saw. So like, this image was inspired by one of the other members in the community. I can't remember who took it. I want to say it might have been Jared or one of them took one similar to that, like next to a fireplace. It was of like a groom. So I've always had that in my mind. So I just figured I'd try something like that here.
Yeah, I
So
love it,
yeah,
man.
and then the way I usually like try to dial in that snoot, I just put it on and I just hit that test flash button until it it's where I needed to go, and then I go from there.
Yeah. No, I think that's the key when you're doing that is you're absolutely right. It's just to kind of just test it just a few times so you can see that light hitting the person and then
Mhm.
step back and actually frame your shot. Ray, one last thing I just want to mention that really stands out to me about this photograph is one, that little touch of light on her. I feel like your mag student was probably at very low power and it adds just that little touch of light where it almost looks like it's ambient light. But of course, ambient light wouldn't have that direction. It would be coming from above and it would kind of create this raccoon effect or the eyes. So I love how your mag snoot is just off to the edge, creating just a little touch of light where, like I said, it doesn't overpower the scene. And oftentimes when I'm telling people, you know, when they're starting with their flashes, start them at really low power, start them just low enough and just kind of increase a little bit by a little bit. But the other thing that I think is really cool is if I would have put my flash in the fireplace, I probably would have aimed it kind of back a little bit. And
Mhm.
and what I love is that you actually have yours aimed forward a little bit, so your light from the what looks like a fire is actually like coming out, and it's also highlighting her dress as well and creating that warmth
Yeah,
there. So you get those two combinations, and it creates this really beautiful photograph that I wouldn't have even thought about. So I just absolutely love that.
thank you.
Yeah. So Ray, fantastic shot. Let me just see really quickly if there's a couple. We have Chris saying she's Army Mom. We got Selena's watching. Danielle saying, or Daniel, I'm sorry, Daniel saying, isn't it time for a nice MagMod sale? Heck yeah, Daniel. Actually, Daniel, if you jump on the MagMod page, there are every week we're putting things on like a Black Friday pricing, and then there's a survey you can take and get an additional $10 off as well. So definitely check that out. And we got Chuck watching from Boulder, Colorado. So appreciate you guys being here. Oh, Chris is asking the light on the bottom that I was just talking about, that was kind of lighting up the dress. Basically, she's asking how was it lighting up the dress, and it looks like it's just aimed kind of out, kind of in the back of the fireplace, right?
Yeah, I have the see if I have. So I had the I think it was this one that I was using. I had it just sitting on like top of the fireplace. I didn't want to get it because there's a lot of ash and I didn't want to get too dirty. So I had it, yeah, just facing out, and then I think I had it pointed up, kind of like that.
Yeah, I love it. And it looks like it's just light kind of bouncing out and kind of around. And yeah, it just puts that extra little touch. Beautiful shot. Very cool. Oh, and then Chris is saying in the front. So Chris, in the front is actually the mag snoot. In fact, I'll share one more time, just kind of the behind the scenes in case anyone didn't actually notice here. Let me, I'll just show it really quickly and then we'll go on to the next photograph. So guys, here is the behind the scenes, and you can kind of see, in fact, if you look really close in the bottom left there, you can kind of see the flash hanging out in the fireplace with the CTO gel. And then he's got the mag snoot on the 8200 pointed right towards her, just really low power. So right on. Ray, we super appreciate those shots. Let's actually go on to another one of these photographs that you have. And this one, we got it's a wedding shot here. Let me share this one. This is a beautiful image as well. Tell us about this photograph, Ray.
All right. So this was shot at this was a wedding that was at an aquarium actually, but they had this cool little waterfall thing near the entrance. And for this one, I had a MagSphere on a stand with an 8200 off to the right, right behind. I don't know if you guys see, like there's a kind of like a rock where it kind of comes around. And so I had it hidden behind that piece of rock there. And then I had another speed light in the background with, I believe it was like a quarter or a half CTO. Like I said, I can never remember which one I'm using, but I had it in the back behind the waterfall, pointed up, just so I can catch the drops of water coming from the waterfall. Otherwise, without that one, you wouldn't be able to see the water.
That's a great reminder for all of us that when you are trying to light up that water, you want to be able to put something kind of behind it, or at least to the side, to be able to kind of light up those drops. So this was two shots. You have one. You said the one behind was the CTO gel, right?
Yeah, yeah. I want to say it was like a quarter. I think it was a quarter CTO gel because it was kind of giving some of that orange lighting or that warmer lighting to the surroundings.
Yeah.
There was also some warm up lighting in there too. And then to the right, I just had a 8200 with a max, lighting the couple and then had them walking toward it.
Awesome. And you're saying the light to the right was just behind this kind of this outcropping here. Is that right? Right on the edge of the frame? In fact,
Yeah, yeah.
it looks like I can even
Yeah, it was,
draw kind of on the picture here.
yep, it was right there. I think in the original image you could see like the MagSphere kind of poking out a little bit still, but I was able to just easily edit that out in post.
Gotcha. It looks like I'm just looking here. I can grab some of these markup things, and maybe we can even draw on these images. It could be kind of fun to kind of show exactly where things are at. Very cool. I love that. So two shots. It's funny. Stephanie's saying You cannot beat dress blues for making a picture look good. So, for,
True story.
for those who aren't familiar, dress blues are basically the uniform that the Marines wear. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, it's our formal dress uniform.
Awesome, awesome. And Ray, one last question: did you the flash that was to the right with the MagSphere? Did you use a MagGrid on that as well, like a MagGrid MagSphere combo, or was that just MagSphere? Do you remember?
No, I don't, but more than likely I did because that's like one of my favorite combos is the MagSphere grid.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it has a little bit control of light there. That's why I was kind of wondering because I sometimes if I use the MagSphere without it, it will fill up more of the cavern, I guess you
Yeah,
could say. But
it probably was a grid because 90% of the time I'm using a grid and a sphere.
yeah, it's a powerful little combo there. So um, excellent. I know Michael Anthony says crushing it, man. Great work, Ray. Heather is asking if it's blurry. Heather, I have a feeling that if you're seeing that it's blurry, it's probably just the signal, the video signal coming in. What we'll do is, Ray, if you're cool with it, maybe after we do the chat here, we can go in the comments and we can just post each one of these images in the thread, and that way, people, if you want to be able to pull it up later and actually see a really clear shot, you could do that. Sometimes,
Yeah,
depending on the
definitely.
internet signal for everybody, it might not be as clear for others. So,
Yeah,
um,
that sounds good. Yeah, right after this, I'll post it in the comments and I'll put some exit data in there and everything for you guys.
right on. Awesome. Clay saying, great image, Ray. You're killing it, brother. Marvin Blue is saying, gorgeous shot. So, you're getting some really cool,
Yeah.
nice comments from everybody. I love you guys all watching. Heather saying thanks because they're beautiful. She just wants to see a clear shot, and so we'll make sure to make that happen. Right on. So Ray, let's jump right on to the next shot. And we have, for this next one, we have this couple. Let me pull it up here. It is a couple that is, looks like in a under a pier of some kind or something. Tell us about this photograph. It's so beautiful.
All right, thank you. So this one I took during a family session, actually. A lot of times during a family session, I'll take mom and dad, and pull them away because a lot of times they haven't had couples shots probably since their wedding days or something. So
Yeah.
I pulled them away, let the kids play for a little bit, and we took these images. The reason why I picked this image though is just because I wanted to talk about something I do a lot in my lighting. All right, so that sky swap. All right, so I use sky swap sometimes because for some reason every time I go out and shoot, I'm like cursed with like completely clear skies and nothing
Yeah.
interesting. But I always want to have the final image in mind. So if I know I'm going to do a sky swap and I'm going to maybe even add a sun back there, I'm going to backlight them with um, like a half or full CTO, just to kind of give them that what appears to be like sunlight um, uh, around highlighting their the edges of their body and everything. So that way, when I do all this stuff in post, it looks real, it looks consistent. And so I always want to have that final image in mind before I start doing all that. So in this one, I had a regular speed light behind them with a half CTO. Um, and then I lit them from the front camera right. I had the 8200 with a grid.
I love that. So Ray, just to actually, so a couple questions come to mind. One is, do you use a particular software for sky swapping, or do you just outsource that?
Um, so a little bit of both. Sometimes I'll use Evolve for my outsourcing, but lately I've been using Luminar a lot
Uh-huh.
lately, and that
Yeah.
thing is sky swaps in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
before that,
I have that same software. I haven't had a chance to really use it yet. I think that's one of the things that probably during this time when we have more time at home, I might dive into a little bit more. You'd mentioned Evolve. I know Evolve does a great job on those things as well. Yeah, the sky swapping. So what's interesting, so just to kind of reiterate what you were saying then, is that when you have a sky swap in mind and you know that, hey, I'm going to have like a sunset in the corner, you want to mimic that light because while you can swap the sky, you cannot create that warm glow coming from behind them essentially. So
right?
you're pre-visualizing the scene. You know that you're going to swap the sky out, so therefore you're setting up your light to kind of match that. Is that correct?
Yep, that's exactly correct. So yeah, I've set up that light to match what I'm going to do in post production.
Yeah. And you know what I love about that, Ray, is that not only do you have that warm light on them, but you'll also notice it right on on the little pillar right above them, you can kind of see this little edge, this little warmth of light right there. You know, and even the shadows coming from them, like going forward, all that just, it works so well in order to make sure that the scene, even though you're swapping out the sky, the scene looks very real. So super cool, man. Love the shot. Uh,
Thank you.
let's see. Let's see. So a couple questions coming in. Steven's asking, where is Ray from? Ray is from North Carolina, right? What city are you in North Carolina, Ray?
Jacksonville, North Carolina. So it's like on the eastern coast.
You guys, North Carolina must have some good water or something, because you guys are putting out some amazing photographers out there. Not only do we have Ray, but we got Dave Shays out there. We got Chad Winstead's out there. We got Crystal Stokes is out that way. Cassandra Bradley. Like, I mean, there's so many incredible photographers out in North Carolina. So you guys are got something going on that's good out there. Excellent. And then let me just see if there's a couple other questions. Chris is asking, what does it mean to use a half or quarter CTO? So actually, Ray, I'll let you tell everyone what's a half or quarter CTO.
So the MagGels, they come in different levels of I guess like so you, so the temperatures go up in different levels of intensity. You got your quarter, you got your half, and then you got your full. Um, I'm usually using a quarter, and in fact, when I mentioned earlier that I use a sphere and a grid 90% of the time, I also throw a quarter on there too, just to, kind of warm up your skin a little bit too as well. Half and full, I'll use those for like if I'm trying to mimic the sunlight or create my own suns and everything. But I they're just different intensities, I guess, and
Yeah.
of warming the lighting.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I didn't want to put you on the spot there, Ray, but I figure everyone probably is tired of hearing my voice enough that I'll let Ray explain it. But you're exactly right. It's just different intensities. A quarter CTO is just less saturated. It's not nearly as warm, where a full CTO is a lot more warm. It's a lot more orange. And so yeah, kind of depends on what look you're going for. Super, super nice, dude. Love the shot. Love it. Let's do this, Ray. Let's you got an active household. I love it. Let's jump over and
Waiting for my daughter to come strutting in here.
how old is your daughter?
She's 4, about to turn 5 pretty soon, but
That's awesome. And she's the one in the photograph right behind you there, right? Have you guys walking?
Yeah. So yeah, that's me and her. Y'all,
Yeah.
yeah. That's when I took of me and her again. Fake sun there, backlit with some CTO magic there. But yeah, that's me and her.
That's
We
awesome.
went to this daddy-daughter dance on base.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful, dude. So actually, that photograph is very similar to the one that you just shared, in that you used a gel behind to kind of warm you up and create that rim light. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's amazing, dude. I love it. All right, let's see. Where are we at? We are on number 4. So let me bring this one up. Speaking of North Carolina photographers, you guys love the mag beam out there, and this one I believe was shot with it, right?
Yep. So yeah, I threw this one in here for Chad, Team Beam. But yeah, so this was during an engagement session. This was my first time using the mag beam. Again, I was just lucky to have it with me. And I had I wanted to get the couple on the dock out there. I never shot on this dock before, so we got them out there, but it was one of those like floating docks. And so it was very wobbly and sketchy. But they were game. They went out there. I was able to get them to pose. I just didn't trust putting my light stand on that dock and having it tip over or anything like that. And didn't have an assistant with me at the time. So luckily I had the mag beam, and then I seen Chad use it all the time. So I thought this was a perfect opportunity to give it a try and see if it works. And I had my 8200 on the light stand to the right on the shore, and had the can't remember what the different beams are called. There's a wide one, and then this is the
The telephoto lens. Uh-huh.
The telephoto one, right? And I think that's the one with the notch in it, right?
So it's
Um,
actually, so it's just the opposite. It's actually, and you're right on board though, and I'm glad you mentioned this because I do want people to understand the mag beam. Some people will use it for patterns, which we've seen. In fact, we just shared a photo yesterday on Instagram with where Mila used it for some patterns and color and things like that. And then you can actually do just the opposite, where you can use it to basically send. I like to think about a light tower, or excuse me, the lighthouse. So those of you who live on the coast, you'll see the lighthouses where they're projecting beams of light out into the ocean so that the boats can see it and so forth. And that's what the mag beam will do when you're using that telephoto lens. So the telephoto lens is the one that is just no notches in it, and then the wide angle one is the one with the notch.
right.
And yeah, so
Yeah,
yep.
I always mix that up. So yesterday I was trying to use I was playing around with my daughter, and I was going to use the wide beam for something, and I thought it was the other one. So I guess I went backwards.
It's
So I was
funny if
like,
you yeah, if you don't use it every day or teach it to other people, oftentimes it will become one of those things where you'll kind of forget. And so yeah, you could, I mean, you could actually take like a Sharpie and just write like in small little print on the corner of it or something, telly or T or W or whatever. So
that's a great idea. I'm
yeah,
gonna have to start doing that. Luckily, I pulled out the right lens for this photo here.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, this was my first time using it. Luckily, I got it right the first time. It wasn't until later that I also realized that I don't know if you guys can see what I'm showing you, but on these lenses, there's like these little grooves that you can feel. So you want those facing the flash, right?
Yep.
Whenever you're using it. So, but like I said, luckily, during this picture, it's my first time using it. I got it right. MagBeam worked fantastic. So I'm a big fan of using it now. So that way, I don't have to edit out light stands, and I don't have to risk my light falling into the ocean or the river here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it worked out really great for this picture
You know what I love about it, Ray, is when you take the mag beam and you put it far, like for example, one, you said you had a shaky dock. So I wouldn't really want a light stand on that dock anyways if it was kind of shaky. But so you can put it out of the frame. And then the other cool thing is, like you said, you don't have to edit it out later. But the other thing that really sucks when you have a light actually in your shot is not only are you editing out the light, but you're also going to be editing it out of the water, because you're going to see that reflection of the stand and the light in the water, which is never fun to edit. And so I find
though.
that by putting that mag beam out of my frame and being able to fire that light across and hit what I need to hit, then I don't have to, try to edit this stupid stand slash light and everything out of not only the
Yeah.
picture, but also the water that you're reflecting that sunset in. So
Very true.
yeah. I love it, dude. Yeah, you mentioned beginner's luck, man. As far as using the mag beam for the first time, you're absolutely right. The grooves on the inside, use that telephoto lens, and then and you nailed it here. Absolutely nailed it, dude. Such a beautiful shot. Now, this doesn't happen to be the same dock that Dave, Shay, and Chad Winstead fight over all the time, is it?
Uh, I don't think it is. It's in Newburn, so it might be. I don't know. They're usually up
Or
that way too.
well, I was going to say, if it is the same dock that they're always fighting over, we could just call this the Ray dock now, and you're just gonna have to put up with that. So, right on, dude. Super, super appreciate it. I'm just looking to see if there's any other comments. Okay. Oh, Lizette is saying, she says, I have a little laminated note in my bag just to remember which one to use for the mag beam for which effect. Um, Stephanie says, and the ridges face to the light. Yep, that's exactly right. And let me see. I think. Actually, Stephanie mentioned she's going to go out and do some photographs today with a mag beam, lighting up people from a distance, kind of creating that social distance, but still being able to take some photos on a walk. Awesome. Heather saying, I can't wait to learn how to do this. And Stephanie mentions that I have a ton of kids, which is absolutely right. So, hey, Chuck is asking, now this is kind of a tough question, Ray, and I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, but he says, what power was your flash at? Do you remember what you might have used for your power?
Oh, no, I need to. I almost never remember what I'm using for my for
You
my
know,
power.
yeah,
I wish there was a way.
I will say it's hard. I wish our cameras would somehow record that information. Um,
Hmm.
and it doesn't. And so unless you have somebody literally writing it down for you or something, it's really hard to understand. I will say this though, every time I've used the mag beam, my powers are super low. 1/128th, 1/64th, because literally all that light, it's like taking a garden hose and putting your thumb on the edge of it, and you're blasting all that water in one area. So even if you have just a little bit of water coming out of the hose, you can make it look like it's strong and go further. And that's the exact same thing with the mag beam. Is you don't need a whole lot of flash power. You can do it at very, very low power and still get where you want it to go. So
Right. And yeah, sometimes I'm using this for like weddings and during the ceremony, and one 128th is what I'm using all the time.
yeah, yeah, and it depends as well, what time of day it is, if it's darker outside or if it's lighter, that kind of stuff. Obviously, if it's lighter outside, then you're going to want to use higher power. So again, I like to think about when I'm outside and it's light. I like to think if I had a flashlight on me and I shine the flashlight, nobody would see it because it's not really that powerful compared to the sun, right? And so if I'm outside and somebody wants to be able to see the light from my flashlight, it would have to be a super, super strong flashlight. In other words, I have to turn my flash up very powerful. Just the opposite though. If it's midnight, it's super dark outside, and I walk outside with a little pin light that's not even that strong, they're going to see it. So if it's dark
Mhm.
outside, low power is totally fine. If it's light outside and you really need to get that flash to be able to see, then it has to be higher power. So right on, Ray. Let's jump over to number 5. And number 5, this image is actually one that I love this shot. We're going to see another version of this here in a second. Let me share the first one, and maybe you can tell us about this first one, and then we'll see another version of it. And this is actually the photograph where I got familiar with your work and got to see, got to get to know Ray basically.
Um,
So tell us about
all
this
right.
shot first.
Well, yeah. So this shot, no. So this shot, I didn't use any mag
Mm-hmm.
mods or anything like that. This was when I was kind of just starting out in photography. Um, Before I even like got into weddings and even created a business, I used to do a lot of Milky Way images. That was like my addiction. I'd go out and shoot Milky Ways I did that for almost like 2 years, and I shot this one on a dock, like really early in the morning. I think it was like 3:30 in the morning. Brought my blues out with me. Just wanted to try something new. Uh, I was really just gonna take a picture of just myself in the dock, but then I started thinking about putting flashes into it, and I put a flash, just laid it down on the ground in front of me, and fired it off, and came out with this image, and was real in love with it and everything. So the reason why I brought this image up is because I was encouraged by a couple people in my local PPA group to enter this into competition. So I threw it into IPC. I entered into the Shutterfest competition, image competition, and just got like ripped apart. So there was, great image, but there's a lot of like things, technical things wrong with it and everything like that. Um, so I took a lot of the advice that the judges gave,
Mm-hmm.
and I went back to that doc. I think it was like this was shot in May 2018. So I shot this around Memorial Day. It was kind of like my Memorial Day tribute photo. Um, and I went back to that same doc, shot it again. This time, with MagMods. This was after I had learned about MagMod, and and how versatile it is, and the different gels and what you can do with making the sky bluer with the CCO gels and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
it came out, and I shot this image, and um, yeah, so I just wanted to kind of bring up the last image and this image just to kind of show that, or encourage our photographers and artists out there to enter into image competitions. Are super awesome. For feedback and everything to help you grow as an artist. And so this was the one I came up with. The way I shot this was, uh, I had an 8200. I'm like reading off the thing here.
Yeah.
8200 at 164th power with a grid and a half CTO camera left. So like, I didn't have to edit out. It was like it was off camera left, and I had it on me, and then behind me I had a just a regular speed light um, at full power with a MagSphere behind me to kind of create those shadows, creating more leading lines into the camera.
That is
And
that
then
is incredible, dude. I love the lesson that you mentioned here, which is you submitted the first photograph, you got I think in your words, ripped apart, or they gave you a lot of criticism on it, or things that you could better. And instead of being
Yeah,
frustrated by that and just saying, okay, never mind, you took that to heart and you said, okay, I'm going to go do this again. And so the following year, you did, a very similar shot, but a better version of it. Um, and I love the way you use light, in this image with the shadows that are coming off your legs. It looks like these leading lines, which match the dock, and everything that it's, you got these leading lines going right into. It's absolutely beautiful, man. Super, super cool image.
thank you.
I I
Yeah,
believe we actually had this photograph listed at the MagMod community as like the header or something for a while, didn't it? Win one of our competitions.
yeah, yeah. So I think it was like when I first joined this group, you guys were having a competition, and it just so happened to be, I think it was like self portraits or Fourth of July or something like that, and,
Yeah.
I threw it in there, and you know,
I have a few. Mark has asked, can we put them side by side? Mark, I don't know in Zoom if I can do side by side. But I'll share each one separately really quickly so people can see them again. This one I'm sharing right now, this is the first shot. So if you look at the first shot, you can kind of see the light. We
yeah.
just have the one light on his legs there, but it doesn't really
And
create the shadow.
yeah, and it was a bare, it was like bare flash. It was a little harsh. Um, there was a couple other things wrong with the image. Like all the lights in the background and the ghosting and everything. So
Yeah, and it and
um,
it it looks like, yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like you can see a little bit of ghosting on your arm where maybe you just slightly moved just briefly for a second there. Um,
yeah, and that's why like I had the the flash hitting me from the front over here, just kind of freeze me more and um, making me look sharper, I guess.
yeah, that's awesome, dude. Super nice, man. Love the image. And Mark had asked if we could post them side by side. Maybe when we put them in that thread. So again, after this ends, guys, Ray will jump in and he'll in the thread there. We'll post the images so you guys can see them as well. Um, and that way they can kind of compare them and look at them. I know oftentimes watching these live, you don't get to see the high res image so right on. Marissa Joy Daly, she's saying so good, which is so true. So awesome image, Mark is saying. Yeah. Ray, just to kind of wrap this up, what would you say? Actually, first off, I got to ask you, what does your coffee mug say there? It says the best what?
Oh, world best dad.
I love it, dude. That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah, so my son made me this when I was in Afghanistan a couple years ago, and sent this to me, and it's been my favorite mug ever since.
That's rad, dude. That's so awesome. I love when people are one. It sounds like you're holding down two careers because you're still active. Is that correct? I mean, granted, they put you in a 14-day quarantine, but you're still active in the military.
Yeah, yeah. So still active. About 3 years left until I retire.
That's awesome, dude. Well, again, thank you so much for your service, and so not only are you managing that, but you're also doing the photography. Are you doing weddings mainly, or what is kind of your forte? What's your
So yeah, it was supposed to be mainly weddings. I was doing weddings, and then I'm kind of in a funny spot right now because I'm due to rotate out of this area and go somewhere else, and I was hoping for California. Um, so right now I'm kind of just in limbo waiting for orders. So because I was anticipating leaving by now,
Mhm.
I didn't do like any like wedding marketing for this year. So weddings is kind of like off for me this year, but right now I'm diving really hard into seniors, and that's
Nice.
getting really exciting for me right now. Um, Hopefully this whole thing passes over so I can continue doing that because got a lot of cool senior stuff lined up.
That's rad. That's rad. You got quite a few people thanking you for your service in the group, and Marvin saying from one veteran to another, thank you for your service. So appreciate all you guys who are out there
You guys,
serving. And yeah, Ray, another question for you then is, with everything happening right now, I brought up that you're for the Elevate Photography that you were doing a kind of in-house studio shoot or whatever. Is there any advice that you would kind of give photographers? Like, what are some things that maybe are on your mind that you're trying to think, how can I be better, do better? Like, I get, I guess I'm throwing a couple questions at you, but mainly the real question is what are you doing for yourself over the next, little bit of time period that you might have some, I don't know if I'd call it free time, but some time at home or time to yourself. What are you doing to improve yourself?
Um, uh, so I've been working a lot like on the business operations side of things. Just ordering newer samples, catching up on the education. I finally like signed up for the SLR Lounge courses, so
Oh, those
diving
are
really
good.
deep into those right now. And improving my workflows. My 17 hats stuff. So just redesigning my website or updating that. Um, Building some more landing pages for some ad campaigns I have going on. I'm still running those right now for when things um, pick back up. I
Hmm.
don't want to be left behind. So those are things I've been doing to keep myself busy and improve myself photography wise, and also spending time with the family. I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of that lately, and just trying to keep myself busy, so I don't eat all the snacks in the house.
If I were you, I would just go get that photo of you deadlifting. What was it, close to 500 pounds, and just post it as like personal motivation. Like, all right,
Yeah,
I gotta keep in
yeah,
shape.
get back to that.
So, and Ray, we'll wrap this up here. But thank you so much. I also Stephanie had asked. I'm not even sure. So please don't for any if it's information that we're not supposed to divulge. But she's asking your MOS. Um,
Oh yeah, it's fine. So I'm an aviation supply specialist. So we got people fixing aircrafts. I'm the guy that gets them the stuff they need to fix it, basically.
Very cool. So you got to make sure you're on top of things, your systems, and so forth. That's awesome. Somebody had mentioned your cat. That's someone else that you're spending a little bit more time with as well. Chris had mentioned your cat walking by in the background there.
Oh, yeah, I got two of them actually. So if um, yeah, I got two cats, Katniss and Prim. So we've had them. They're about 5 years old now. They're great.
And Ray, just it's funny. I'm just looking at some of the comments. Marissa's mentioning as far as food goes. She says I've gone through Oreos and 3 bags of Raisinets. She doesn't give a time frame, but I'm going to guess that was just this morning. So we're 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 all in the same boat, dude. Yesterday I was
Yeah.
talking with Spencer about changing our environment. When we change our environment, um, my environment's full of food. Like we have like a month's supply of food, where previously it was like 2 or 3 days of food, and I see it all and I just want to eat it all, and it drives me nuts.
Right. Yeah, me too. I'm always in the ice cream.
Yeah. So Ray, one last question for you, and then we'll wrap this. Is there any advice you would give to somebody who's trying to learn? And again, I know that I haven't pre-fed you these questions, so I'm putting you on the spot. But somebody who's trying to learn MagMod modifiers, or become a better photographer, what is one piece of advice that you might give to that person?
Um, I don't want to say the obvious, which is practice, of course. Practice, but also get in the group a lot, and feel free to ask questions to any of the people in there. Everyone seems to be really helpful. I'm very helpful. Like I love um, you know teaching others and giving information and everything. So you guys are all free to message me whenever you want. And thank you again, Trevor, for giving me the opportunity to give back to the MagMod community, because I learned a lot from this group just by being in it. And learning from others is how I shot at videos. So learn, practice, make mistakes, and keep on doing that.
Yeah. I think it goes right back to that shot that you did the last one, which was you shot something, you learned from others, you got some, critiques and things that way you can make it better. You went back and did it again. You didn't just give up. You didn't say, I'm not good enough. And then, like you said, constantly just be sharing your photos. Don't be afraid of sharing it and putting yourself out there. The nice thing about the
Right.
MagMod community, it is a safe place where we don't allow criticism of photographs. But at the same time, if somebody says, hey, how can I make this better? Obviously, people can help them. We just do it in a nice way. But yeah, don't be afraid, right? So love it. Ray, you rock, dude, in so many ways. I love that you're this incredible family man. You're doing amazing things for our country. And then as a photographer, you are an inspiration. So thank you so much for joining me today and for being on here with me.
Thanks, Trevor. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. So just so you all know, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a Friday forum where we're going to have about 10 photographers on here. In fact, Ray, you got to join us for one of those in the future as well.
Yeah,
We're going to have 10
definitely.
photographers. Yeah, we're going to bring, we're just going to chat a little bit about, what they're doing, how they're keeping busy and what they're doing as far as their business goes right now. So be sure to join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, we're always recording these. We're putting them up on YouTube as well. So be sure to check those there. And then lastly, I know a question that came up about any sales going on. There are sales on the MagMod page. We are still shipping orders out the same day that we get them. And so if you guys do need to pick up any products, if you're inspired by any of this and you're saying, hey, I want to go out and practice, I believe the basic kit and the MagBeam kit are on sale this week. It's Black Friday pricing. Go to magmod.co/2020 survey, fill that out, get an extra $10 coupon. So I'm just trying to find ways to help you guys save a little bit of money. Ray, just before we close it out, I just want to make sure that I see if there's any other comments. Some people are mentioning they're excited to see how I shot at videos again, and I'm stoked that you got to start this out for us, Ray. One saying, learn, practice, make mistakes. Ray, you demand. Semper Fi. I said that wrong, didn't I? This is really, I love this. Ray, you got some really good comments in there. Be sure to check those out. And then, like I said, guys, Ray will be posting these photos so you can see out the high resolution ones as well. So Ray, thank you again. Love you, brother.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome.